Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome back to the Dark Mirror Tarot, where we shine light into the shadow and bring the shadow into the light. Relax. Breathe. Settle into the space where you are now and feel the weight of yourself pressing upon the surface beneath you. Know that you are here and that you have a purpose. The flame is burning hot. We need to act and use this energy rather than continue to waste away replaying scenarios, replaying the past, trapped in these karmic loops, holding the tower energy at our heart, always grasping and searching for this partnership in the material world with some entity outside of ourselves that's going to, we believe, fulfill our fantasy. And it's this projection of this hologram of our true energy that we're dismantling. In yesterday's video, I was literally unweaving. I know I say literally a lot, because I literally am unweaving past workings that need to be undone. And if you're hearing this message, that may resonate with you. Don't mind my missing, I got one missing nail. It's all right. We'll fix it. So, I don't know why I had to call that. I meant to not even pay attention to it, but then it was one of the first things I did in the video. I don't care. It's fine. Our imperfections are part of the process. We ended the last reading with that. There's that 5 of swords or 5 of wands. It's that 5 energy on the bottom of the deck. And we've got the 3 of wands on the top of the deck. So it's despite the consistent looming irritant that we feel rooted in, we have to devise and divine a path forward and keep that at the forefront of our mind. The constant looping into these self-terrorizing, it's these love loops. And then it's our Venus energy being corrupted. And we corrupt ourselves, okay? It's not that others aren't contributing to the energy or providing the framework for us to get looped back in, because they are. But they're not necessarily our enemy. When you look into the Vedic mythology between Venus and Saturn, it can really take you out of the mindset of the victim mentality of it being this constant romantic play of where there's the hunter and the hunted, the dynamic in the Vedic astrology between Saturn and Venus kind of switches it up to this kind of guru and this teacher coming together in this harmony and this friendship. And Venus is actually a male entity displaying the divine feminine qualities, which is interesting. So I digress. The flame is burning hot. The hexagonal shape at the top of Saturn, okay, I've been talking about on this channel, and it's this dynamic between Venus and Saturn, right? And it's us being able to channel our own emotional energy with that air dynamic, with the air principles, like the water bearer in the Aquarius vibes. This is High Priestess energy online, but we're going into our reversed High Priestess. So it's okay, unravel with me. It doesn't always have to make sense, and two things can be true at once. We've got mugwort on the table, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. Being that it's number 11 in the Dirt Gems Oracle is also significant because it's giving me High Priestess pillars, okay? And with the duality, the light and the dark, and the two faces there you see on the card. Okay, and I just want to briefly, 50555, actually, I just saw on the clock. I saw 505, but it was 555. Okay, check this out. So no bullshit. This is something I've been wearing around my neck for, oh gosh, probably about 6 years, let's just say, because it's a hexagonal shape, just like the one we keep talking about at the North Pole of Saturn, right? That calls in the Venus energy. Literally, Venus is associated with 6, the number in numerology, and the magical aspects of the number, right? So it's tied to this shape. And then when you look up like the spiritual meaning of hexagon itself, it's like bringing into balance opposites, the divine feminine and masculine, making like the 6-pointed star. And it's these two triangles then overlapping each other, right? I think that's how it works out. Is that the Merkaba too? Like, like I didn't even really realize this. That's what I mean. It's like I go into these weird periods of dormancy. I don't know if you can relate to that out there, if you're finding these messages, like where, I think is a survival mechanism, and because I get like overstimulated in life and overburdened by the repeated tower moments and everything that I keep participating in, but they do keep recreating around me. And are we drawing them in? Do they exist without us too? Like what the hell is really going on? But it's like we didn't create the North Pole on Saturn, but it could be drawing us in, like, just like writing letters to Santa Claus. Okay, so anyways, I've been wearing this around my neck with this inside of it, which is a rose quartz sphere, which I always, of course, associated with the heart space, with love, with Venus, with, So why did I have that inside a hexagon on covering my heart space for like the last bunch of years? And so much crazy stuff has been going on. Like, so we're drawing this energy literally into our heart space, this Capricorn energy. When I first started wearing this, I had an experience that was very life-changing and traumatic that I still carry with me. And it's like multifaceted ways. It's a diamond. It's made out of pressure from coal, from the darkness, right? From like this, but it's like this rich void space of complete potential and opportunity. But it's like, what do we do with it? So I've been wearing this, and I just like looked at it today because I was sleeping in it. And I just was like re-watching my last video, and then I realized, and I looked down and I was like, no way. And I'm gonna try to stop saying literally, but I counted the sides on it, and I'm like, oh my God, like I had to count it like a bunch of times, probably 6 times. Because I couldn't believe that I was really wearing the rose quartz sphere inside of a hexagon on my heart space. And I've been talking about this. And it's been like rusting and leaving spots on the sphere that you see I have on the dragon's back right now. So like yesterday when I was drawing the black wax out of my celestite, I believe it's a celestite crystal. It's like I was washing the rust spots off of this rose quartz sphere and like undoing these bindings. But yet there is some need for binding still of this dark energy. Like we need to manage it correctly, and we're not abandoning the wisdom of the hexagon by any means. Like we're just learning from it. And like when you put it this way, it really does look more like a rose, doesn't it? So I was talking about in the last reading about like superimposing the path of the rose onto the hexagon. So it's just like becoming deeper. And so I had to get into it a little bit today. I did work on my broom garden outside. I was talking about that in the last couple videos, broom being significant, just symbolically for everyone as like a clearing away and a tool of the goddess of the crone. The crone wisdom has been, the crone showed up at the beginning of the creation of this channel, which is, I'm only like 15 readings deep right now, maybe, which is kind of a pivotal number if this is the 15th one. So it's that point of change. All right. But she showed up anyways, and I'm just saying the broom, and I did work in the garden, the earth. I worked and I cleared and I'm doing. And we're acting. We're keeping this 3 of Wands at the forefront and the top of our priority list, right? Of our to-do list, to-do man. Okay, so let me just get into mugwort because I got mugwort on the table for a reason. And it's talking about getting into our dream space. So with this Knight of Swords that came out, or is Page of Swords. Okay, so we're not at the Knight of Swords yet. And so I'm getting ahead of myself. While we are reacclimating our Venus energy, we've got the Venus energy here in between the wings of the dragon. Okay, we're being held. And it's not in a sheltering way. It's for healing, true healing sanctuary, because we're dissolving the hologram garden and we are growing and we're planting the seeds. We've already laid the soil. We've been through the dark night. We've been through the initiation. We're tending the seeds now. And there's still seeds we need to plant, but we're at the seeding and tending process. Okay, so no more of the like wallowing in darkness stage. We're at the point of what are we making out of this now? Okay, we can't just keep fumbling around in the darkness. All right, so with the pillars, number 11, okay, super significant. If you're seeing repeated numbers, of course, like little puppies, little kittens. Mugwort is the magnifier. So we're going through the portal, the pillars, like the red spheres in the past couple readings that were they're coming out on this beautiful card. She's marked by the moon, and it's this red energy down around her and spheres of this red light. Okay, and that's where we're gonna find our 2 of coins, our worldly partnership and our link to infinity. So it's like we are drawing up the frequency through our root portal, and then through us to this dimension, and then through this to all others. And this Page of Swords energy on top of our purpose, it's like we're learning the Saturn energy, we're acclimating it with our Venus energy. We're scrubbing off the hologram, the rust, the calcification, blowing away the dust, but we're traveling through the dust, but we're acclimating and finding ourselves through it. We're not letting these projections become our identity. We're following our path toward victory. Our focus is paramount. Mugwort is the horse on whose back your dreams ride to you. Mugwort calls forth what is lying deep inside of you. I'm reading now from the Dirt Gems Plant Ally deck and guidebook. For what is yearning for attention, integration, and expression. And I'm going to be interjecting my own thoughts here because I think we have to be really mindful of right now, especially whenever you're hearing this reading, especially, if you're watching this in real time. Today's the 13th of July, 2026. It's a Tuesday, and it's the day before the culmination of the new moon in Cancer. So we're in this black moon phase right now in Cancer at the deepest part of the zodiac. And for me personally, and what is, I think, part of me getting into doing these readings and this whole channel is because it's really activating my natal placements in my astrological chart. So I'm no expert astrologer, but do check into your own charts and how this new moon is affecting you personally. If these messages are finding you, then just trust there's something here for you. And moving on with Mugwort, it's not discerning of what messages come through and doesn't judge your dreams, but is simply the doorway that opens to your subconscious. So the thought I was trying to get out was that we have to be really mindful of what we're creating, because sometimes right now we're so pulled into this yearning for this attention that we're really creating from that space rather than our authentic self space. And we're still identifying with our ego space and an outside entity, a love relationship, a karmic pull to a situation or whatever it is, but it's something outside of ourselves. And it could be a soul tie with a person, but right now your solitude is sacred. And it honestly, we've been isolated. If you're hearing this message, it's likely you've been isolated for a while and felt this way. And felt and this is part of the yearning for attention. But we can't be continuing to create from that yearning space. We have to claim our power. And with Mugwort coming out, it's just, some of us have really been numbing our subconscious because we don't even want to go there. It's we say we want to see, but we're really just tired and exhausted and kind of we're afraid of seeing ourselves clearly because we know there's so much work to do, and we know what needs to be done, and that's why we numb ourselves to not be able to do it, because it's just exhausting, and we don't believe that there's even an audience for what our message is. So it's hard for us to see a path forward. And this Three of Wands, it's hard for us to even envision where are we going, because and that's what we're dissolving with this dissolving of the false garden. Oh my God, I seriously got the devil in reverse on the middle world cut just now. We're dissolving the hologram garden because it's telling us lies about ourselves and where we can go, and it's our showing up inauthentically that's causing our would-be tribe to reject us on an energetic level because we're not harmonized within ourselves. Okay, so we're numbing ourselves to our subconscious. So our dream space isn't even working the way it's supposed to. And that's why mugwort is here, because it's like, you know, there are things probably in your environment, practices that you've adopted, habits that you have, and, you know, take this however it resonates, that you've adopted that you're using to calm yourself, to help your body feel better, for your nervous system. You're, you know, you're following the advice of people that are supposed to be wiser than you or whatever, right? And I'm not saying not to, you know, do that. Like, you should definitely seek professional guidance for concerns. But what I'm saying is some of these practices that even could be, you know, advocated and supported by these systems around us are not actually for our best and highest good, and that they're actually preventing you from unfolding in the way that you're supposed to, and like understanding yourself the way you need to, and you're not getting the dreams that you're supposed to get, because of whatever it is that you're ingesting, absorbing, whatever, from the environment in whatever method, you know, that it is. Yeah, it's like cutting you off. So mugwort is trying to reconnect us to our actual source. And, you know, that's something else that was coming through when I was thinking about Venus and Saturn in the Vedic astrology. I was getting into Kali Ma and thinking about her in this aspect of how she is the slayer of like the asuras, right? So she's a Devi. And this would be a agent of this, of like the sun, if you will, right? Like casting out shadow. And then when you look into the astrology or the mythology of Venus in Vedic, you know, astrology, it's like there's a bond between Venus and Saturn because of their common like opposition to the sun. So I was wondering about, you know, how can I be so drawn to Kali Ma and then also Venus? But it's because too, there is, both things can be true. Kali Ma is the source of all the universe. There can be no conflict between interplanetary elements when you worship or devote yourself to the ultimate source of all things, of, you know. And so these are all aspects of her. So there is no conflict, you know, with that. It's like she absorbs all. Anyways, that's like a whole other tangent, but maybe that's where mugwort is taking us on this journey. Obviously, that's where we just went, right? So mugwort is not discerning of what messages come through and does not judge your dreams, but is simply the doorway that opens your subconscious, the pillars, okay? Letting it speak to your conscious mind. As a complex and heavily cerebral species, we need to connect to other worlds of our consciousness, and this liminal space is mugwort's terrain. So I do have some mugwort on the table as well, just saying. As people on this earth, we experience both the mundane and the magical every day. So we can think about this symbolically, spiritually, and then like I was just drawn to touch the actual mugwort on the table. You can bring this into your life in very tangible and like textile ways. You always, of course, consult people smarter than you if you need to about ingesting things, but you can make mugwort tea. It can be burned responsibly. So anyways, we experience pain, excitement, apathy, horror, joy, and ecstasy. Our tremendous task is the integration of these and the memory of them in healthy ways. Though mugwort shines in this role, it is not a matter to be taken lightly. Mugwort brings forth the workings of your inner mind. Dreams can often feel twisted, dark, bizarre, or unnerving. And I want to ask you, how did you wake today? What did you dream? I don't particularly remember my dreams all the time, and it is due to self-numbing and medicating, for sure. I know that. So, yeah. But sometimes I wake with a particular memory, which I did today, of something, now I'm losing my voice, something traumatic. And I'm being drawn into this ultraviolet blue light. So it's like calling on Archangel Michael for protection, strength. Yeah, but it was a really specific traumatic memory of an experience that's like a core memory kind of for me, and my it's one of the great traumas, and I was like replaying an aspect of that as I was trying to like make coffee, and that's very common for me to have to work through those things upon waking. So whether I remember my dreams or not, I hope this is helpful to someone out there. You can relate, because it's like whether we remember our dreams or not, it's like we're still working out this subconscious material one way or another, and how we deal with it, because I was like, today, rather than like letting myself spiral into the memory, I was stepping outside of myself into a more high priestess energy, but yet this reversed one, obviously, because we're going deeper into these core wounds with Eris energy, though, the rebellious upheaval of it, because we're uprooting it. So I was challenging the memory, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling this. I was aware of it rather than spiraling into it. I was also aware of it. I was holding both, okay? I was feeling it, but I was also aware of myself feeling it. Like, all right, I am feeling and I am aware of this traumatic memory replaying in my energy field. And how am I going to work through this? How am I going to and even honor this part of myself today? How can we best care for ourselves today? That's what the point of this reading was going to be, and I completely forgot until now. That how can I best care for myself through this today? And if me showing up again, doing a reading, going back through these same cards again, brings me a feeling of peace and purpose, and it is moving me forward, then that's okay. And that's beautiful. And that is focus on evolving. We have to be mindful that we're not creating from this space of wanting to get attention from that devil energy, putting ourselves out there in such a way as to just like reattract love offers, right? Like I'm doing this and I'm not sharing it on any of my other platforms. I'm not trying to get attention from, past situationships or people or friendships or anyone. I'm just putting it out there because I'm trying to evolve my own energy and share it as a portal for myself to come back to as a touchstone, and hopefully, mindfully, I hope, as an offering and service to spirit and to others and whoever comes into contact with this energy. So it's like, whether we can remember our dreams or not, okay, mugwort is the amplifier, the magnifier, coming through the pillars, the high priestess, reversed or not. There's two pillars, upside or down. You're still gonna get a portal, okay? It's like the Gemini symbol. You flip it upside down all you want, it's still gonna look the same. The communication, you know, it's like Mercury in retrograde. We're communicating with the underworld. I mean, we're in our Erishkigal era, screaming, you know, feeling the horror, the terror, and holding it though, holding that 10 of Cups reversed, holding it with that wicked witch energy, but observing ourselves, not acting from that space, but able to hold that energy and then still acclimatize it with the air energy of Aquarius and Saturn. How powerful is that with healing, with all this amethyst I have on the table, and I was called to bring in fluorite today and these extra mirrors, okay? Well, one extra mirror, but it's like the reflecting of the light, and it's really giving me legend vibes about like how, you know, they use the mirrors to reflect the light into the space to undo the work of that devil energy, which doesn't go away at the end of the movie. It's like it gets like spun back into itself down further, but it's like we cannot erase the darkness. The darkness is the womb space. The darkness is where we're birthed from, you know, and it's not ever, I don't even mean to demonize the devil energy, but it's like, it's interesting how it can play in and out of itself. Especially like I was saying, when you like look into the Vedic interpretations of how Saturn and Venus interact, it's interesting. And then their relationship with the sun, and then the layer of that with Kalima. Anyhow, here we go. Into the dreams that feel twisted, dark, bizarre, or unnerving. And even if we don't remember our dreams, we're working through this subconscious material one way or another. Mugwort will bring this forth when there is something within that needs to be processed, and enhance the vibrancy of your dreams so that you may experience them fully. You know, maybe some of us have been numbing for so long that now it's almost, and also like living in this like spiritual realm, that it's like now we're bringing it's like they're just one. We're bringing the, like I keep talking about those shadow and the light and the light and the dark, and it's like we're in that midpoint, that twilight where it's like both at the same time. It just feels crazy to me, and I mean really in this dark moon space right now. So Mugwort will bring these dreams forth when there's something within that needs to be processed and enhance the vibrancy so that you may experience this fully. This experience can be magnificent and frightening. If you are prone to nightmares, or if your dreams are dark or sad in nature, you can still call on Mugwort and ask them to stand with you as these dreams come forth, but go gently and with caution, little by little. Being able to integrate our dreams aids us in being vibrantly present. This clarifies what we truly desire and leads us to step more fully into who we are. So this is a necessary step into defining our path and really getting into the headspace to even see clearly where we're going next. We have to have this experience, this black moon, this first of 9. Mugwort is a special ally to the pelvis, a region prone to stagnant patterns and blocked creative energy, which can lead to depression. Climb on Mugwort's back and let their wild ride carry you through your own imagination into the realms of cosmic movement. So, 444. Movement of the pelvis, the dragon dance. I'm bringing myself into the eye of the dragon here through the dragon dance. The dragon dance, this dance of the lunar nodes, this is what brings Venus and Saturn into this symbiosis. But we were scraping off the rust because this hologram of what we thought we were creating is not the true expression of our energy. And our solitude is sacred right now, because the connections that we've made, that we're mourning right now, the grief that we're feeling because that connection point that we had with that Capricornian energy through the earlier part of this year, probably, if you're hearing this message, this is the theme, this is the story that we've been working through. You know, we're moving away from that now, and we're feeling the grief, we're feeling the solitude, the pulling away. But it's like, there still are these embers burning, right? It's like the cosmic dust that we're still moving through, reminding us of that energy. But the best use of our power right now is to put our energy into ourselves. And that love between the Venus and Saturn energy, that love that you shared with your twin flame, the one that you're mirroring each other right now. Like, do not doubt that your love was real, because it is real still. But you're not able to be together right now. You're not even able to speak to each other right now. Like, you can only move forward up and through. And that is the only way that you'll get back around to the point again to come into harmony. And at that point, again, it's that figure eight. It's this 2 of coins, the infinity symbol. The 2 swords crossing in this page of swords. Bringing us into that destiny point again. After 37, after we've evolved, again, it's like we're going through these karmic loops. Are we going to continue to keep tower energy at our heart? This rusted version of this Saturnian energy that keeps our Venus energy like caged. And again, it's not to demonize the devil. We are not harmonized in our own path. We have to focus on our own energy and bring this back into ourselves. Climb on mugwort's back and let their wild ride carry you through your own imagination into the realms of cosmic movement. We need to act in alignment with this highest version of self and do our dragon dance and show our dragon dance to the world. And this is how we participate in the movement that brings us back into alignment with our true cosmic complement, our equal and opposite. It's this attraction and repulsion. And we only come back into attraction after we've evolved into this version of self that is sovereign and sufficient and victorious. Focused. You know, and the work that the Saturn person has to do in this scenario, the other, you know, might have to do with becoming more attuned to their own emotions, dealing with things from their past that prevent them from allowing this expansion of love in their own heart to be received. And that's nothing that we can force. That's, you know, that's like really none of our business. Like they have to do their healing, they have to go on their path, and we have to go on ours. And it's this Chiron and Chariklo energy moving back and forth in between each other. But like with the Saturn and the Saturnian nature of things, and it's like that calculated focus, like a computer. There's no emotion, and there's no value on emotion. And with the Venus energy, it's like the complete opposite of that, right? It's the visceral embodiment of emotion into cellular function, you know? And then it's like the experience of how emotions like literally create your cells, you know? And we're like, what do you mean? Like, how can you not see this? Like, logically, you know? Don't you see? But we essentially eternally will value each other and always love each other. And it's like, we can't escape that North Pole pull of that hexagon. It creates, look how it's creating the rose. All right, this reading has gone a bit long, but it is purposeful and beautiful, and I believe it is focused, even as it unravels and is scattered and full of vulnerability. And thank you for being here with me and sharing this darkness and going through this space with me. I'm going outside again, and I'm going to work more on the broom garden and my dragon dance. I think the challenge is really for us today, how can we best care for ourselves? Move your body in this dance, in this figure eight. Move your hips if you're able to in this dance, and release this energy in whatever way feels the most natural and easy and grounding. You know, if you're able to go put your bare feet on the ground, I think you should do that. And allow this spirit of mugwort into your dream space. Little by little. If you encounter something frightening, you know, have a totem of light and surround yourself in a sphere of light, even before you go to sleep, purposefully. Call your power to yourself and call your guides to you, call your protectors to you, and enliven and ignite this white light around you for protection. Call in that blue flame and go into the blue flame. And watch the shadows as they pass by and know that you're protected. Learn from this story that's going by, like a movie showing you your past traumas and all these demons, these asuras that are coming up to be slayed by the light. But we can't just let them retreat into the darkness like the devil at the end of the Legend movie, right? Because it's like a candida infection in overgrowth in your intestines, you know? Like, you think it's gone, but it just goes deeper into the tissue. And it's like you almost have to, oh my gosh, now we're getting back into that Ace of Wands in reverse with the maiden energy baiting the unicorn to steal its horn. And it's the Legend movie. It's like, you know, you're getting into that space where I kind of just lost it. All right, so just a little addendum to this video to clarify at the ending there, because I lost my train of thought. I was deep into the mugwort vibes, okay? I was talking about the candida and how it was bringing me back into baiting the unicorn with the maiden. And what it was illustrating for me that I had lost the thread of was actually flipping that storyline. And I honestly don't know if anyone's following this or not, but for me, it's really interesting because of us talking about how to reacclimatize this geometry of the hexagon of Saturn with the energy of Venus and the path of the rose. Okay? So I know it's a lot like, I feel like the guy in the picture putting threads on, all the different pictures in the room where you have like your biggest conspiracy theory, and this all ties to this and this, but for real, I have to work this out. And so that's why I'm here doing this. But okay, bringing it back in, whoosh. Okay, we're flipping the acalmy because we're actually, like, when you have a candida overgrowth, okay, and the bacteria has gone deep into the tissue, it's almost like you have to bait it with something to make it come out again, to then really eradicate it, because it can live so deeply inside, and you feel like it's gone, and it's not, and like you feel like you're cured, but then you'll have like a relapse or like a reoccurring issues, and it's because it's still there deep inside. And actually needs to be baited with, and I'm not saying this from a medical standpoint or like a clinical dietitian. So do, consult professionals if you have actual issues and everything, and professional people. This is really just an illustration, but it's like you have to bait it with sugar almost to get it to come back out, and then like reattack it again, because otherwise it's just going to stay in this dormant state. So it's like you have to give it something tasty to reemerge and then grab it by the tail. And so it's interesting to me to think of that concept of it within our bodies. And many of you out there, if you're, resonating with this tone and my messages, then you may also experience digestive upset, so you can relate. But it's like thinking of this in that aspect of the maiden and flipping the geometry of Saturn to actually bait the hunter. When they're using the maiden in the garden to bait the unicorn, it's the hunter who's orchestrated the geometry, who's created the garden, who's groomed the maiden and placed her on a pedestal and hopes that her purity is going to attract the unicorn energy so that it can, be severed from its power, and then that power can be acclimated and manipulated however the hunter energy wills, right? But by flipping this whole paradigm into this mindset of, baiting the candida bacteria to come out of dormancy so that you can grab it, it's almost like you're, then it's like something has infiltrated the mind of the maiden to make her aware of the plot. At some point, right? It stops becoming a true fawning And maybe she's performing now to the hunter in order to bait them so that they can be grabbed by the tail and brought out into the light now. And that's where we're really going with this. And so if you can follow that twisted snake train of thought, I really thank you for being here with me and sharing this darkness. And yeah, that is the addendum. I will talk to you again soon, okay? Bye.